How would your life change if rape didn't exist? Imagine what we could accomplish if we didn't have to spend our energy protecting ourselves from society's rapist problem Rupi Kaur, homebody. I'd walk my dog at night. I'd have had a slightly less fucked up childhood. A lot of the trauma I've experienced wouldn't have happened, for starters. My interactions with men would probably look very different as a result. I suspect I'd be a lot more willing to take chances in big and small ways. Not just going out after dark, but in who I'd choose to spend time with, where I'd travel, etc. Honestly, it hurts to consider the question, because that's such an impossible dream. Thinking about it only reminds me of how very constrained my life is, in comparison to what it could be. My friends and I wouldn't be walking home at 3 a.m. after a night out, in short dresses, thinking, is tonight going to be my turn? Realistically, many people in my family wouldn't have existed without the consistent violent rape done by white settlers, so I probably wouldn't exist today. Edit. This comment is specifically referring to the genocide and rape of indigenous people in America. Please do not respond to me to make this about actually, all people, if you think about it. I probably wouldn't have PTSD. I would worry far less about the physical safety of my children. I'd probably date more men. There would be better people in the world because of the sheer mentality you need to do something like that. Maybe I, my friends, my sister, and my mother before me would have had better childhoods. I love to hike but can't hike alone, so I have to treadmill it lol, PPL I know have gotten assaulted, flashed etc. I'm petite and always look like a target apparently. Probably wouldn't be as scared of men. I would have remember losing my virginity. I'd have far less scars mentally and physically. Wouldn't have PTSD flashbacks randomly. Probably would have had a much better sex life in my teen years. But also I wouldn't be here. My granddad was a product of rape. His mum was a maid in a big Downton Abbey-style house in the 30s. She was late back one night after the pub and one of the staff, possibly doorman, raped her in order for her to get to bed. He did it to all the girls that were late. She hated my granddad all her life because she hated his father. Being raped and forced to be pregnant has been my biggest fear since I was 11 years old. Since the overturning of Roe v. Wade, I've seriously considered permanent full sterilization to protect myself even though I live in a blue state and I might want to have a bio-baby one day with someone I really love. I just can't imagine living through something so awful if that fear came true for me. If rape didn't exist, would be fucking unstoppable. I'd be so happy. I'd feel so safe. I wear baggy clothes and cover myself up. I don't date. I went down an absolute hole of substance abuse and shame for a decade. Still in weekly therapy. This happened when I was 17, but I found out later in life that someone had sexually assaulted me and given me anal chlamydia sometime before I was 2.5 years old, so now I have no contact with any men in my family. I have a son to protect now. I wouldn't have spent years in therapy, half a year hating myself, wouldn't have tried to kill myself, wouldn't have relapsed into self-harm, and I wouldn't have flashbacks and nightmares that I struggle with years later. A part of me will always hate men for what they did to me. I don't think I can escape that, but at least I don't hate myself anymore. Edit. Someone commented but the mods deleted it. Yes, it's worse than death. I would have rather died. Leave my doors and windows open all night. Gosh, so many things. Ask a man for help of any kind. Taking extra measures for safety when I need work on my house. Etc., etc. The outfits I would be willing to wear while out and about alone. I'm a big believer I would be in a happy, healthy relationship with kids by now. But my CSA caused me to grow up with BPD and I was raped again in university. I just don't have mental health to be in a healthy relationship. I don't trust men and I'm angry over what has happened to me, and it's hard for me to not envy the fact that most men will never have experience the trauma I have and my female friends have. I'd have a lot less scars on my body. A lot less hospital trips. I don't think I would be suffering from an eating disorder. Still, I think it comes a lot from wanting some sort of control that was stolen from me. I would sleep at night. I was assaulted in my own bed and I have panic attacks every night and never feel safe in my own bed no matter what. I'd drink a lot less, cry a lot less. I wouldn't overly analyze every men's reaction to women in public and start feeling unsafe at the fact that a man checked out a stranger. I'd walk my dog at night. I'd go for runs in the morning at the lake by my house. I'd be prettier, I think. My eye bags wouldn't be so dark. I wouldn't spend so much time in baggy clothes hiding from the world. A simple pap test wouldn't drive me over the edge in fear. People around me would spend a lot less time worrying about me. I would spend a lot less time alone. I wouldn't find comfort in men who couldn't give less of a shit about me. I'd spend less time focusing on red flags that are barely there. This is a lot, there is just so much. I spend a lot of time wondering what type of person I would have been. What type of person was killed and taken away from the world those nights? I often mourn the person I could have been and spite the person I became. I'd be able to have an orgasm, because I'd actually be able to relax and enjoy sex, rather than always waiting for it to happen. Again. I know, not all men, but I would view men as fellow humans instead of possible predators. Because you never know. I would go for a walk at night.